Live for nothing or die for something. Rambo stars Sylvester Stallone, Julie Benz, and is directed by Sylvester Stallone. So guys, recently my buddy over at Durant Cinema, he just did a favorite action movies collaboration video, and I was one of the guys in that video, and the movie that I chose was Rambo. This is the fourth installment in the Rambo franchise, and this one is really awesome. So I thought, hey, you know what? I want to do a review for this one. And I'll probably do a review for all 4 Rambo movies, but like I did in the Halloween series reviews, I'm going to do the same with Rambo. I'm going to do them in reverse order. So guys, it had been almost 20 years since the last Rambo movie, Rambo 3. For the longest time, people thought there was not going to be another Rambo movie. People didn't even really want another Rambo movie. So when Sylvester Stallone finally announced that he was going to do one, and he actually announced this before Rocky Balboa, but he ended up doing Rocky Balboa first. That was a huge success, so then he came back and said, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do the Rambo movie. And again, people were not wanting a Rambo movie, but he put it out. And this movie exceeded my expectations and exceeded a lot of people's expectations. The movie starts out with Rambo living in, I believe he's living in Thailand in the movie. I know that's where they shot the film. He has pretty much been in seclusion pretty much ever since the events of Rambo 3. And then this group of missionaries, they come through and they want to go into Burma to provide food and aid and medical support. There's only one guy that can get them there, and that's Rambo. He knows the area. So they come to him, and Rambo pretty much tells them, no, I'm not helping you. I have no interest in helping you. If you go in there, you're going to die. But these missionaries, they will not take no for an answer. So Rambo finally comes around and takes the missionaries into Burma when one of the missionaries, Sarah, she is able to convince Rambo that what they are doing is for a good cause and it will make a difference. So he comes around and then he takes them into Burma. And when they go in, they're captured and they're pretty much prisoners of war. And so Rambo finds this out and then he goes back in to rescue them. Guys, I remember seeing this movie in the theater and I was excited. I'm a huge Rambo fan. I'm a huge Stallone fan. So I was excited for a new Rambo fan. But even this movie exceeded my heightened expectations. I was ecstatic. The first scene in this movie really sets up the tone of this movie, and you know immediately this is not going to be Candyland. This is going to be a really serious and edgy Rambo movie. In the opening scene, you see the Burmese soldiers. They have all these guys, these prisoners, and they're making them walk through these, it looks like rice fields. And in the rice field, there are grenades that are just randomly scattered about. And you see foots being blown off and people exploding. And it really sets up the villain of this movie, which is the Burmese military. And they are brutal. And that's one of the great things that I love about Rambo. This movie is very violent, but it's not like violent in like Transformers violent or even Die Hard violent. This is real violence, like when you watch on TV a news reporter getting beheaded or something like that. It's that real. And some of the scenes in this movie, they are pretty shocking, especially if you watch the theatrical cut, funny enough. The extended cut actually cuts out some of the more shocking scenes. It's more of a character building version of the movie. It's still really, really violent. I actually prefer this version because there's some really cool character scenes with Rambo, where especially the scene on the boat when he's telling Sarah what he's been going through and why he doesn't want to do it anymore and how his country has pretty much forsaken him. But I remember watching this movie in the theater and the violence is so brutal that I heard people gasping. Also, another thing that is great about this movie is Stallone. The way he played Rambo this time, he is older, he is war-torn, he is harder, edgier, and he pretty much doesn't give a shit about anything. And one of the scenes in the movie when he is taking the missionaries as far as he's going to take them, some of the Burmese locals come upon them and they try to take Sarah, the woman. In this scene, it really sets up how dangerous Rambo is. In a second, he snaps. And in that scene, he takes care of business. He is not playing around. And I want to talk about one scene at the end of the movie. It's probably one of the most popular scenes. And it's when Rambo and his group of mercenaries, this is their last stand, all or nothing, and they're fighting the Burmese soldiers. And then Stallone comes up and he gets on the 50 cal. And that scene is, oh my God, just balls to the wall, badass. That scene really shows the power of a 50 cal. He's cutting people in half just with one bullet. I mean, it's insane. And the sound on this movie, if you got a good sound system, definitely use it because it sounds amazing. Also, I like that they put Rambo with a group of mercenaries this time. You know, in the last movies, he's usually on his own. And this scene is really cool because it gets to show you how Rambo reacts when working with other people, especially when they're on the boat together. And one of the guys, he is constantly testing Rambo, but he realizes that if he goes to a certain point, he is going to be up shit creek without a paddle. And finally, I love the locations in this movie. I love that they shot on location in Thailand. I love movies that are filmed on location. I don't like when they shoot on a sound stage, especially if it's going to look fake. I like realism in movies. The country of Burma is almost a character in itself in the movie. It's really muddy and dirty, and it just adds to the authenticity of the movie. So guys, I've had a good time discussing Rambo with you guys. This is one of my all-time favorite action movies. I'm going to give it Trapped on an Island. I love it that much. So what are some of your favorite action movies? Looking forward to hearing from you. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and Humdrum out.